Please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for the future uploads.
Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss the topic of maintenance under Special Marriage Act. So what will be the questions asked in the question paper regarding this? Firstly, they can ask, describe the provision for interim maintenance and permanent maintenance under Special Marriage Act 1954, or what are the various factors to be considered while granting maintenance under Special Marriage Act. Questions asked, discuss the provisions for interim maintenance and permanent maintenance under the Special Marriage Act 1954. 2. What are the factors to consider while granting maintenance under Section 36 and 37 of Special Marriage Act 1954? Who can claim maintenance? 3. Short note on maintenance under Special Marriage Act 1954. This topic is not asked in the question paper for 16 marks. So this is not a full length question. Either there will be a short note of say 4 marks or 8 marks, but never a full length question on maintenance under Special Marriage Act will be asked. Now, even though it is not a full length answer, you are supposed to write the answer by giving synopsis first. So there will be introduction, then what is the meaning of maintenance, then what is interim maintenance, what is permanent maintenance, what is difference between the two, and then the conclusion part. So all this should be covered in your answer, and then only the answer becomes complete and presentable for the examiner. Now we will see firstly what maintenance means. As far as definition of maintenance is concerned, Special Marriage Act, there is no definition given under Special Marriage Act as far as maintenance. We have to opt the definition of maintenance from Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. So Section 3 of Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956 deals with the concept of maintenance, wherein the maintenance includes. So the definition of the maintenance is maintenance includes and not maintenance means. This definition is exhaustive, rather this definition is inclusive in nature and not exhaustive in nature. So what is the difference between the two? Sometimes we say that x equal to y, or x is this plus this plus this. That is the definition of x. But as far as maintenance is concerned, the wording used by the legislature is not maintenance means. The wording is maintenance includes. So the definition is not exhaustive but inclusive one, and many factors are considered and other factors can be added while deciding maintenance. So what does Section 3 says? Section 3 of Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act defines maintenance as maintenance includes provision for first food, shelter, education, clothing and medication. So all these 5 factors are considered in the definition, and like I said, this definition is not exhaustive. Any other expense of the spouse also can be considered by the court while deciding the amount of maintenance. Maintenance is not defined in Special Marriage Act 1954. It is defined in Section 3 of Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956. Maintenance for the spouse is provision for food, clothing, residence, education, medical attendance and treatment. So now we have seen what the maintenance means. Now maintenance is included in Special Marriage Act in Section 36 and Section 37. So Section 36 deals with interim maintenance and Section 37 deals with permanent maintenance. Firstly, we will deal with interim maintenance. Now, what is interim maintenance? The term interim means during the pendency of the proceedings. So until the proceedings are pending, till that time a spouse is given maintenance. But there is a difference between maintenance, rather interim maintenance under Section 24 Hindu Marriage Act and interim maintenance Section 36 Special Marriage Act. If you see, Section 24 Hindu Marriage Act says either spouse, and Section 36 Special Marriage Act deals with only wife. So in Special Marriage Act, only wife can claim interim maintenance and not the husband. This is the first and foremost difference between two acts, Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act. We will deal with the difference between the various enactments in a separate lecture, but right now I thought to point it out because the difference between the two is very much apparent. Now, as far as interim maintenance is concerned, it is granted during the pendency of any proceedings, and if you read the section, the bare reading of the section says any proceedings under chapter 5 or chapter 6 under the act. And what are the proceedings under chapter 5 or 6? Proceedings for restitution of conjugal rights, proceedings for judicial separation, for divorce or for nullity. These 5 categories rather, because nullity is void marriage and voidable marriage. So these 5 categories cases are covered in chapter 5 and chapter 6. And if a petition for either of these 5 cases is pending before the court, then and then only section 36 application for interim maintenance can be made by the wife. Now, what factors the court should consider while granting this maintenance? Firstly, the court has to see income of the husband as well as of the wife. Then, the court has to consider the standard of living of the parties. Here, the standard of living plays a very vital role because standard of living decides what is the need of the time. Because a person is accustomed to spend how much amount on his standard of living determines the need of the amount which is required by that person. So that therefore standard of living of a person is definitely plays vital role. Income of the wife also is considered because she may have income. Let's take a case wherein a wife is doing a part-time job and is getting 5,000 rupees from that job, and husband on the other hand is doing a full-time job and is getting 2 lakh rupees salary per month. Here, even though the wife is earning 5,000 rupees a month, still her income is not sufficient for her maintenance because she is accustomed to lead standard of living like her husband who is getting 2 lakh rupees a month, and therefore such wife, even though she is earning, will get maintenance amount. Interim maintenance section 36 has to be filed in the proceedings pending under chapter 5 or chapter 6 of the act, can be made only by the wife who does not have independent source of income sufficient for her support and necessary expenses. Maintenance and litigation expenses can be granted, weekly or monthly maintenance, keeping in mind the income of the spouses. We have seen the concept of interim maintenance enumerated in section 36 of Special Marriage Act. Now we will see permanent alimony and maintenance. So interim maintenance was during the pendency of the proceedings, and permanent maintenance is granted after the proceedings are over. That is the only difference between permanent alimony and interim alimony. That is, interim maintenance is granted during the pendency, and after the case is over, then which is granted is called as permanent maintenance. Now, interim maintenance has to be a monthly amount or a weekly amount, but permanent maintenance can be a gross sum, for example 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 20 lakh, or it can be a monthly amount also like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Similarly, this is also a difference between rather interim and permanent, that interim cannot be a lump sum amount, it has to be monthly or weekly, and permanent maintenance can be monthly or a gross sum. So what are the factors? First of all, an application has to be made under section 37 to the court. For filing that application, the proceedings either from chapter 5 or from chapter 6 of this act has to be pending, meaning either the proceedings for restitution of conjugal rights, judicial separation, nullity, that is void marriage, nullity, that is voidable marriage, or divorce have to be pending in the court, and then only application of section 37 for permanent alimony and maintenance can be made by the wife. Here only wife is entitled to claim maintenance under Special Marriage Act, and husband is not entitled to get maintenance under section 37. This is another distinction between section 37 of Special Marriage Act and section 25 of Hindu Marriage Act. Now, what are the factors which are to be taken into account? First of all, income of both the parties, husband as well as wife, is to be considered. then standard of living of the parties is considered. If there are any properties bought by the parties, that is immovable properties, then that is considered. If there is income fetched from such immovable properties, that has to be considered. If there are anyone dependent on that person who is dependent, what is his relation, and for how much amount that person is dependent on the person, that also has to be seen. And if there is any other necessary expenditure that spouse has to incur, that also has to be seen. But while deciding permanent alimony and maintenance, the conduct of the party is also equally important. Meaning, if that wife is not honoring the marriage or she is not honoring the husband, then whether she is entitled to get maintenance or not is also to be seen by the court. Once permanent alimony or maintenance granted by the court can also be modified by filing an application for modification for the same. When the modification application will be tenable, first of all, if the spouse is not, rather the wife is not in need of maintenance, if the maintenance is monthly, or that wife is now remarried with someone else, and that's why the responsibility of previous husband ceases to exist, so that it is not required for him to pay alimony or maintenance to such spouse. There are various other reasons also wherein the changed circumstances will lead to modification of order under section 37 of the Act. Section 37, permanent alimony and maintenance. At the time of disposing of any case under chapter 5 or 6 filed under the Act, on an application seeking permanent alimony and maintenance, application can be made only by the wife. It can be gross sum or periodical sum, having regard to income of the parties, their properties, their standard of living, their expenses, their dependents, conduct of the parties. Ability of the husband is also taken into consideration. The court can modify the amount granted under section 37 if an application is filed to that effect stating change in the circumstance. Maintenance to be paid till the remarriage of the spouse in whose favor the order is passed. So, in this question, we have seen the introductory part. What is the meaning of maintenance? What is included in the definition of maintenance? What is interim maintenance? What is permanent maintenance? And what is the difference between interim as well as permanent maintenance? Now we will come to the conclusion part. Why conclusion is important? Because by even reading mere conclusion, the examiner should know that you have understood the topic and you must have included everything in the topic. And that's why conclusion is important. So while writing the conclusion, we have to say interim or permanent maintenance can be asked by making an application in proceedings under chapter 5 or chapter 6 filed under the Act. Then various factors are considered by the court while granting maintenance. Only wife can claim maintenance. Interim maintenance can be weekly or monthly. Permanent maintenance can be periodically or gross. This will be the summary of entire answer. This has to be written in the conclusion part. The same topic is discussed in the Marathi language also, the link of which is given in the description box down below.
If you have liked the video, please give a thumbs up. Video on various topics are going to be uploaded on YouTube. Please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for the future uploads. Thank you.